Holy shit, you are not gonna believe what I'm about to tell you. These last 6 months have been nothing short of absolutely fucking crazy, but in a good way. After my first initial face-to-face with Emily, I decided I needed to move on with my life, and I ended up getting hired to be an estimator for Kevin's brother Kyle's 36M construction company. It was going well, and at about the 2-month mark Kyle, knowing I was an architect, started asking me to design some of his custom builds and would compare them to the usual architect he was using. He was liking mine better, and while I still work as an estimator I am now solely designing the custom homes for Kyle, and he gave me a huge raise. This allowed me to get my own apartment, and I'm thankful to say I am no longer living in my parents' house. Emily and Kevin's wedding plans progressed with only one major change. My father was no longer walking her down the aisle, as everyone felt it was inappropriate, given my return. Her much older brother was going to take that role now. Emily was an oops baby, so her brother is 16 years older than her. After our initial lunch, I saw Emily a lot more often. We were making it a point to do something all together with Paul at least once a week. Kevin was there as well, but they kept the couple behavior to a minimum. It was fun. I especially enjoyed getting to talk to Emily and just be around her. After a month of this back-to-school season hit, I guess in the screen printing industry this is the busy season, which I guess makes sense with fall sports, staff shirts, clubs, Greek life. Kevin has contracts with all the school districts and is used heavily by the local colleges in the area. He became swamped at this time, which led to Emily, Paul, and I spending a lot more time just the three of us. Over the months of this we became a lot closer. Hello side hugs became lingering full front hugs. Emily and I would talk about all sorts of things. It kind of reminded of me when we were first dating. After a couple of months Kevin began joining us all again. This didn't dissuade Emily and I from rebuilding our friendship. And then the most amazing thing happened. Paul started calling me dad. I literally chewed up like the first 10 times he did this. Life went on for the next couple of months. It was a week before the wedding. I was not going to attend. My parents were as guests only. That weekend they decided to have semi-combined bachelorette parties. Each was going out to dinner with friends, then friends activity, her karaoke, him top golf, then they'd all meet up at a bar or club around 11 p.m. I wasn't involved in any of this and had no idea which place they were going to end at. I decided I was going out that night instead of just sitting in my apartment being a dud. It was a hard night for me, as it was another reminder that I had lost her to someone else. No matter how good of a dude he was, I still hated it. It was around 1030 that night. I had a good buzz, and was planning on getting an Uber home, when Emily and her bachelorette crew walked in. I kind of hid in the crowd at first, not wanting to butt into her night, but she spotted me. Emily came over and we began to talk. It was a little bit flirty. A song she loved came on and she began to dance, then dance on me. I joined in and we were laughing and having fun. As the song ended she kind of stumbled into me. I caught her, and we looked at each other. Our lips moved in close and we almost kissed when she pulled back. We laughed it off, and moved to the bar to get a drink. It was probably a good thing we didn't kiss because about 2 minutes later Kevin came walking up. He was trying to be his usual self, but seemed a little off. They kissed, and I began to feel like the third wheel, so I went ahead and ordered that Uber and headed home. The next day I'm a little hungover, and slept in pretty heavy on my lazy Sunday. It was midday and I hear someone try and open my door. It was locked and they began knocking heavily. I ran over and opened the door. It was Emily. She lunged into my arms and kissed me. It was the sweetest feeling I have ever felt. Confusing, but sweet. I asked her what was going on. She said, Kevin came to me this morning and started asking some hard questions. I don't want to go into it. I promise I'll tell you everything one day, but I'm in no place to do so now. We decided to end things. I admitted my feelings were still strong for you. He said he understood, that it hurt but that he knew. He said we both deserve to be happy, and he is going to step away. I called your parents. They are good keeping Paul a bit longer. I love you, and want to be with you, and I'm suspecting you feel the same way. I told her that was all I ever wanted. It's been a whirlwind. She had 2 bags packed for her and Paul and they moved in with me that same day. The next day my father went to visit Kevin. He told me Kevin looked a little hungover and had taken the day off. They had a talk and my dad tried to be as empathetic as he could. He just wanted to check on him, as Kevin had been a large part of their lives over the past few years. He asked Kevin what he was going to do. He said beyond trying to get some deposits back, he had no idea. My father offered to refund him his money and take over the reservations. He didn't ask why. My father thinks he knew. While this was going on I had to go into work and face Kyle. He called me into the office upon my arrival. Kyle had me sit and began, just let me say my business. I'm angry. My brother tells me to let it go and I will. I want to take that anger out on you, but I'm not going to. My brother and I learned the hard lesson back in high school, when it comes to revenge and swore we'd always be the bigger men going forward. But that's not a tale for now. I think it's best we part ways. My family needs time to heal. I won't leave you high and dry though. You get 1 week paid off here. In that time I want you to speak to an acquaintance of mine. Lee runs a construction company as well, and he says he will take you on at your current salary. It's commercial instead of residential, but you'll do fine. I stood up and started to thank him, but he cut me off. This isn't for you. It's for Kev. Now go get your things, and get up out of here. I contacted Lee the same day. He told me I could start in 2 weeks. Once my father came back and said he now had control of the wedding accommodations. Emily and I just looked at each other and knew we each wanted this. It wasn't the wedding we always wanted. We planned on getting married on a beach. It was Kevin that wanted the traditional wedding. In the end he was right though. We had an amazing time. Jorge was my best man. She looked stunning in her dress. Getting me a tux rental on short notice was probably the biggest headache, but that worked out too. Neither of us had huge friend or family groups, but it was nice to enjoy celebrating with those that had supported us through all these dark times. It's been a month now since our wedding. I still can't believe it. Paul had a little trouble adjusting. He does miss Kevin, but he has seemed happier the last week. To be where I once was, and be where I am now, I consider myself beyond lucky.